Hi everyone, this is your second lesson for week 9 on Macbeth. Today we're going to be focusing closely on the characters. Yesterday we looked at setting and today we'll be focusing on characters. So I just want to draw your attention first and foremost to task 1 from yesterday's lesson. What we were trying to make sure that everybody had done was that they had their Google Drive folder organized. If you want to review this, you can look and see that you must have your Macbeth folder organized in the grading or in English folder, and then you need to create your subfolders: INB notes, assignments, well-being, and other. So as I said, today we're going to be focusing on characters. Our essential question is, how does Shakespeare introduce characters and present the storyline at the beginning of the play? And our learning objective is to become more familiar with the opening scene of the play and highlight its importance. Checks for understanding. So I'm just going to check there with a couple of questions that you need to be thinking about before you begin today. Yesterday we focused on setting. So here's a question. Where is the play set? What did we say the tone and the mood might be representative of? Who is the main character of the play? What is a Shakespearean tragedy? You should be able to answer all 4 of those questions very easily at this stage. If not, then you must revise our first week of lessons about Macbeth and our first lesson this week. So for task 1 today, I need you to watch this video, okay? It'll give you a better understanding of the characters of the play. It's going to be linked in your Google Classroom material, okay? So don't worry about having to click it through this video. Once you have finished watching the video, you must go through these notes. Your second task is for you to write some notes about what you've just watched and the notes that you read. So here are some of the key character profiles. The witches, also known as the Weird Sisters, are the characters that start off the play. And they start off the play with a sinister tone. Sinister means kind of dark, spooky, uneasy. They are ugly representations of the supernatural and resemble fate. Fate manipulates human lives. They are powerful in their manipulation of Macbeth. So they are the ladies that tell Macbeth 3 prophecies or 3 things that they see happening in the future. And they manipulate Macbeth in terms of trying to achieve those 3 things. They speak in rhyming couplets, which separates them from the other characters in the play. So everything they say has a rhyme. They play on Macbeth's weakness rather than cast spells on him. So they isolate his weaknesses and they help him become the instrument of his own downfall. They don't cast any spells on him, but they essentially cast a spell on his ambition, metaphorically, because they know that he wants to be king and how ambitious he is, and eventually, through their telling of his future, he tries his best to achieve what they have foretold, and it essentially leads to his downfall. Other characters, you've got King Duncan of Scotland, Malcolm and Donalbain, and Macbeth. So King Duncan is the king at the beginning of the play. He's murdered by his cousin Macbeth, and he is honest and good. Malcolm and Donalbain are both the sons of the king, and Malcolm is the eldest son. Macbeth then, obviously, we know he's the title of the play. Macbeth is Duncan's most courageous general. He's really courageous and he's an excellent fighter on the battlefield. His ambition is to become king, and this ambition corrupts him, causing him to murder Duncan. The other characters that we need to focus on are Banquo, Lady Macbeth, and Macduff. Banquo is the general and Macbeth's best friend. He suspects Macbeth and Duncan's murder, and he was actually an ancestor of King James. So as we would have noted in our research in week 1, The play Macbeth is based on real characters, but the actual play and what happened in the play is not true. The King James I at the time, who would have been a ruler at this time, loved Shakespeare and he loved his plays. So Shakespeare decided he would include some members that King James would know in order to make it more interesting for him and more appealing to him. Lady Macbeth then is as ambitious as her husband. Or ambition again, guys, means trying to be successful and aim for the highest possible achievement. She is also a dark force beside or behind his evil deeds. So Lady Macbeth encourages Macbeth to commit the murders and to commit the crimes that eventually lead to his downfall. And lastly but not least is Macduff. Macduff is a Scottish general and he is very, very suspect of Macbeth in terms of his role in murdering the king. He's very suspicious of him throughout the play and he is an instrument in discovering Macbeth's true actions. So for task 2, what I want you to do now is, with assistance from the video, okay, the video is really, really important, with assistance from the video and the PowerPoint that we just gone through there, I need you to write notes about those characters into your interactive notebook. Very simple, very straightforward. It just requires you sitting down in front of the PowerPoint or this video, taking notes, and making sure that you've included all of those primary characters just there. So you need to be looking at the three sisters or the witches, King Duncan, Malcolm and Donovan, Macbeth, Banquo, Lady Macbeth, and Macduff. Okay, so that's essentially 7 subtitles. If you're unsure, you can use the link to get to your folder and upload your work there, or else you can type your notes in there, print them off, and stick them into your interactive notebook. Okay, so once again, I just want to draw your attention to something that you should have done for today's lesson. This should be organized. Your interactive notebook should have work in it from yesterday's lesson, and all of that work should be uploaded into your folder on Google Drive.